In early 2024, we left our home in Tennessee and began our journey down the Pan American Highway. The plan is to drive all the way down to Argentina, but first we've got to start with Mexico. Welcome to Baja. When we told people we were going to be driving through Mexico, we were met with a lot of, "Are you sure that's a good idea?" Or, "Is that even safe?" Well, you never really know until you try it.
Once upon a time, I was making my way through the Southwest, and I knew right then that it was now or never. Senorita, it's nice to meet you.
Before we crossed the border into Baja, we spent a few days in California prepping our truck, getting last-minute pieces of gear that we weren't positive we were able to find over in Baja. We did grocery runs, laundry runs, and just got the truck in tip-top shape to be sure that we were going to be safe and comfortable for the next several weeks. Friday night, and tomorrow we are crossing the border into Mexico, which is our first country, which is so exciting that it's finally here. We're exhausted because today has been the last day of just running around doing random errands, but I think we're finally ready. We're just kind of a little bit, I guess it's nerves, like we've just been building and anticipating this for so long, and it's finally here. We're just ready to get it over and be out there and enjoying Mexico for a little bit. I have been organizing the truck because they're supposed to do an inspection on it. And then I got all of our paperwork in my bag and ready to go. So we've got our passports and our registration and driving permits and Kramer's paperwork and everything else we could possibly need is ready and organized. And we're doing this finally.
Ready to go?
Let's go. First off is insurance, so we have to get insurance for our vehicle for Mexico before we leave the U.S. So they say to get it at this gas station just before the border. Let's go, Mexico!
So we have insurance for Mexico now. It's sold in simply a gas station right here before the border. All you do is you go in, you talk to the clerk, really nice man, say, "I need insurance," and then you have to show registration of your vehicle, your license, and then proof of insurance. Because we are older than 25 years old, because this is a 1988 Land Cruiser, we are only covered via liability, which is kind of understandable, but they do offer full coverage as well. Once you're in there, you have to give a specific date, and then they'll charge you by the date.
You have to have it. That's what I'm getting at. You have to have vehicle insurance before you go to the border. I was under the impression until a couple of days ago you got it at the border. For some reason I thought there was like a station that you get it at the border, but get it before you go to the border. All right, we're 1/4 of a mile from crossing. We've got to do inspection and then we've got to do our immigration stuff. So let's go.
So in order to get into Mexico, we need to grab an FMM. An FMM is a migration form issued by the Immigration Authority in Mexico upon arrival. It's a temporary permit that will allow you to remain in Mexico up to 180 days in the country. This is the same form that you get in when you enter Mexico by air, but since we're entering by land, we aren't handed our temporary immigration form on the plane. Instead, we have to fill it out in one of the office buildings after our vehicle is inspected at the border. Our FMM costs 717 pesos per person, which is around $43 US per person. And before we can get fully into Mexico, we have to stop and get another permit, the TIP, the Temporary Import Permit. A TIP is a permit that is given to vehicles when crossing the border into a different country. For our vehicle entering Mexico, our TIP costs 949 pesos, which is equivalent to about $57 US. Our TIP means that our vehicle can enter the country of Mexico for up to 10 years, which obviously gives us plenty of time to see and experience all that we hope to while we're here in Mexico.
We are in line at the border right now. As an RV, we get in the car line, not the truck line. It's moving really fast.
It is moving fast. Look at that.
Pretty fast.
Look at that flag.
What does it say?
Boundary of the United States. Like this is the
that's
actual
it.
line.
We have been anticipating this day for so long. It doesn't feel real. Like we've been planning this for over 2 years now. While we didn't think Mexico was our first stop, it just like the idea that we're finally beginning this long international overlanding adventure, it just feels surreal. We keep saying, we're really doing it, buddy. Like from Dumb and Dumber when they hit the road.
We're really doing it though, aren't we, buddy? Yeah.
We're really doing it, buddy. Like we keep saying that over and over today, just because it just feels like, it felt like for the longest time, it felt like it was never gonna happen. And now it's here and we are crossing over. Technically, we're already in Mexico. We just crossed the border line, got passports. We're ready to go. This is our third time in Mexico in the last 2 years. So we feel like this is like a really easy, like taking the training wheels off kind of step. Because I think it's a pretty easy country to get into. Like they're pretty welcoming. Yeah, we think we're here to run it. Yeah, I guess it's... Oh God, this is weird. The whole Kramer bag. Oh, this is probably inspection. Yeah. Come on. Open. Open. Oh, I do. He wants to say hello. We good?
We're good, I think.
Wow, that was fast. We made it to Mexico!
We're literally not even half a mile across the border, and there's this amazing taco stand right here. Crossing the border was pretty easy and simple. Everybody there was super hospitable, nice. I mean, honestly, it didn't take very long at all.
Well, I think it took us less than a mile over the border before we stopped for tacos. Smells. So excited.
So we got tacos. Let's get on the road.
So before we get to beautiful Baja, we have to get through Mexicali, which is a decent-sized city. I mean, it's not huge by any means, but there's traffic. We're in what, 6 lanes, like a 6-lane road right now. So we're just navigating our way through traffic. It's a Saturday afternoon. It's not so bad. Got some tacos. We were both getting a little hangry, so we had to get food first. And now we're just working our way through Mexicali. And then the next stop, I think we're stopping in San Felipe tonight. It's like a 2.5-hour drive. So we're just gonna sit back and enjoy the views for the next 2.5 hours.
So cheer up, my brothers, live in the sunshine. We'll understand this all by Jesus Christ, cause he loves them both. We're all castaways in need of rope, hanging on by the last threads of our hope. In a house, a mirror full of smoke, confusion, illusions I've seen. But where did I go wrong? I sang along to every chorus of the song that the devil wrote like a piper at the gate, leading my cement down to their
Kramer's in his element.
Come on.
the seductive voice with the heart of faith. Well,
All right, first campsite spot though. We're in San Felipe, which is like 2 or 2.5 hours from Mexicali. So like 2.5 hours from the border. We're on the Sea of Cortez, so it's like the eastern side of Baja. This is our first stop. One of our friends told us to stop at this campground. Good recommendation. It's pretty, it's quiet, it's not overbearingly busy like some of the other places. Passed a ton of campgrounds on the way into town, and this one is much quieter than the rest. It looks like it'd be 1,000 degrees here because it's so dry, but it's probably 65 right now, 70. It feels perfect.
So today was an okay amount of driving. Wasn't too long, wasn't too short. A lot of it was held up at the border and just dealing with all of that. But it was a pretty seamless and easy day. And so now the real journey begins. We want to spend just a few moments here. This is nice.
farther along where no one look about it. Farther along where understand why. So cheer up, my brothers, live in the sunshine. We'll understand this all by and by. Light down.
So, in case you're not familiar with Mexico's Baja Peninsula, it's a skinny piece of land that juts away from the mainland of Mexico just south of the USA's state of California.
On the eastern side of the peninsula, you have the Sea of Cortez, and on the western side, you have the Pacific Ocean. The peninsula is divided up into two different states, Baja California in the north and Baja California Sur to the south. These two states are connected by mountains that run from the north of the peninsula all the way to the southern tip that makes up what feels to be the spine of the Baja Peninsula.
Now, while Baja is most famous for its incredible beaches, between these two bodies of water is a mountainous desert landscape that is vast and mostly barren.
It's getting warm finally. I think it's finally 75 degrees outside, so we are making smoothies while we are pulled over for a few runs amongst these giant cactuses. So we got bananas, mangoes. We just stopped by the grocery store. I got some fresh fruit, but I'm trying to use up some of the stuff we have. It's the best part about being somewhere warm is we just picked up fresh oranges and fresh strawberries. But I gotta use up what we have first. We're gonna use up the mangoes and the bananas and the spinach.
So we're continuing our journey down south, but along the road there are just these gigantic cacti. I mean, these things are freaking huge. Look at this thing. I mean, we need to stand beside it for scale. I'm gonna make Sarah stand beside it. How tall are you?
5'5"-ish. I think that thing is 25 or 30 feet tall. If you look at our truck next to it, our truck is 10 feet tall. That's well over 20 feet. I think it's closer to 30.
While the interior of Baja feels mostly rugged and desolate, periodically you can see patches of green way off in the distance that look a bit like a mirage. These oases in the desert offer refreshment and a change in scenery amongst a never-ending landscape of dust and cacti.
Rolling into these little towns with lush green grass and palm trees feels refreshing and cool after being in the shadeless, unrelenting desert for so long.
During our 700-mile drive from San Felipe to La Paz, we made a couple of overnight stops in small towns. And that's where we stumbled into one of our favorite stops. So we finally have stopped for the night, and we were passing on this overpass right here.
What town is this? This is cute. There's a campground here.
We saw that there was a van, and we're like, oh, I wonder if people are camping down there. And then we saw this little sign that said RV park camp. I'm like, hey, let's just check it out. We drove under the overpass and went down this dirt road, and it was kind of overgrown. It was really cool. And then all of a sudden we end up in somebody's backyard, and I start walking around and I'm like, am I allowed to be here? And it's just their home. It's sort of like think of it like Harvest Toast or something like that back in the States, but she opened up her backyard. It's this little elderly lady, and for 200 pesos we can camp here right along the river. And even on the river they have this boat that you can take a tour on. We're starting to get into what we wanted to experience, to end up in these weird situations. Yeah, we're gonna go off grid. Yeah, we're gonna see amazing, beautiful places, but it's these situations where you get to interact with people and see life at a different pace. That's what's really beautiful and meaningful to us. So we're gonna make some dinner, call it a night, and then tomorrow we'll continue on south. We're only staying here a night, but it's a really, really nice small town here in Baja. All right, see you in the morning.
Loreto was the first place in Mexico's Baja California Sur that we stopped and really slowed down for a few days. Right before we began our trip into Baja, we took notes from a friend who had traveled Baja multiple times before, and she had marked Loreto on the map as a must visit. We didn't really know much about it. Like a lot of places, we just sort of roll in and see what the place has to offer. One thing our friend did recommend we do is go to get seafood at this off-grid taco place. But to get there, it was a little bit of a journey. When I say it's off the grid, we had no cell service out there, which isn't completely uncommon in Baja. The road to get there was bumpy, pothole-ridden, and a little bit sandy, and sand still scares us because we're afraid of getting stuck. This little seafood place was an open-aired, family-owned and operated restaurant that was right on the coast. We went around sunset, and we had perfect sunset views over the calm waters as we ate some of the best seafood we have ever had. It was delicious. You know, I don't know what it is, but swimming at the beach in Mexico, you just get this natural hunger for fish tacos. And tacos are largely a breakfast food in Mexico, so a lot of taco shops close around lunchtime. But we did find one, and they're only open for a few more minutes, and it's really close to town. But this is a little family-run place. It's like a whole family behind the counter, super nice people. Everybody here is just so nice.
Okay, let me give you a taco lesson, because when we first went to Mexico City, I wasn't prepared for this, but now we are. So when you order fish tacos, they give you the taco, they give you the fish, and it's just a fish taco. It just looks like that, right? Then all these restaurants have a bar. They have this bar with all the different toppings, and so that has pico and guacamole and lime and all sorts of different things. One of our first interactions at a restaurant like this, we just kind of ate the fish tacos, which is eating the fish without the toppings, and so many people had a problem with that. So we've learned our lesson, and we go over to the little bar and we put our toppings and we make it whatever style we want. Which is so good. Oh, this is a beautiful sight. And they even give you a little hard tortilla too, so snack afterwards. All right, we're gonna dive in.
I'd rather walk than race. My only run is running late. I slowly mosey in, no hurry, no. At my own pace I go. And from the balcony I hear the buzz of busy bees, the noise of frazzled people hurrying somewhere they'd rather be. What's the rush? I don't know, 'cause I'm not in one.
There's something about Baja that encourages you to slow down. Maybe it's because aside from the major towns in the south, the peninsula is sparsely populated, which means less noise and fewer crowds.
Or maybe it's because the roads we're driving south offer incredible stops all along the route.
Whatever the reason, Baja is the perfect contrast to the busy and bustling state of California that we had found ourselves in just before we crossed the border into Mexico.
Baja has been a literal breath of fresh, salty air that we're soaking in as much as possible.
We're in the Sea of Cortez, which means it's the Gulf of California. It's not little, it's still huge, but the water gets warmer here than it will, hold on, believe. Than it does in the Pacific. Oh gosh, here's another. So fun. Woo. I love this. This donut inner tube was the best $4 we spent in a while. I'm enjoying every penny of it.
The days are sunny, the water's warm, and to travel fast seems almost like a crime. Even with many miles to cover each day, we still make time throughout the drive to play in the ocean.
This little dolphin guy. We're gonna wear you out, okay? Deep leg cheaper. Stay up.
So this is sort of a typical scene here in Baja. You're driving against the highway and then you see a beach and then you can just pull off like these guys. That's one of the amazing things here. You can drive on a lot of the beaches. And if you see one, you're like, you know what? I kind of want to go there. Just pull off the highway, jump in the water.
All this. Yeah. Look at those sandy paws. Why did we let you do this? Look at those. Get an up close shot of those paws. This is what we go through every day at the beach. Oh my gosh. Oh, Kramer. Stay on your bed. Stay on your bed. Nope. On the bed. On the bed. On the bed. Good boy. So I can't have nice things.
I try so hard to make him stay off the cushions so we don't smell like wet dog all the time. So far, so good. Kramer, off the chair. No, no, no. I know it's clean and it's dry and you want it, but we're not doing that.
That's fine.
So we were driving against the highway. This is shot on the iPhone right now because we just jumped out. We had to see all these pelicans and they're chasing fish. We've never seen anything like this before. I'm sure it happens here all the time, but for us, this is something new. So we went out and we grabbed our big lens. Look at Sarah, like a champ.
Don't distract me.
She's in bird watching mode right now. But it's just incredible to watch them go up and dive and get their dinner. Like I said, we were against the highway. Nature.
Look at this. Vertebrae. How cool is that? Just right here, you got coral. Look at how pretty all these. Oh, it's so pretty. Just on the side of the road. It's disgusting.
Now, while the beaches are incredible and the wildlife is beautiful, it's the Mexican people that always draws us in and makes us fall a little more in love with this country with every visit.
So much for a quiet day at the beach.
Earlier this week, we were at a campground and we were talking with some locals, and they're like, "You have to come to this beach. There will be nobody here." They weren't accounting that Easter was this week. So we did learn something very interesting. You have all the foreigners come down, and then spring break happens here in Mexico. And then on top of that, you have Easter this year. So they have like 2 weeks back to back. So when you come down, you'll notice a bunch of foreigners, then they all go home, and then that week that the foreigners go home, that's like spring break week here in Mexico. So it's a bunch of locals. And that's why we think this local beach that the locals gave us is very popular.
Whole city parked on the beach, but I also kind of love it. While I don't necessarily always love crowds, I love the culture of Mexico and like the family community aspect of it. I mean, it is just like family on family on family. There's kids running, there's dogs, it's just so much fun. There's volleyball and jet skis and mariachi bands. There's just a lot happening, but I love that. So while we may have wanted quiet earlier, we got here and we were like, let's go. So here we are.
If you're walking alongside this beach and you listen to each tent or where, each person, each family's place, almost every single person here has a radio. They're all playing all sorts of different music. So it is this like loud, chaotic, dogs are barking. So it's this loud, chaotic blend of mess that's just beautiful. It's this chaotic mess. There's something about being in Mexico during something like this that's just special. We've never spent an Easter in Mexico before, and we can already tell that this is going to be something special.
I know we've touched on it in past videos, being in Mexico, and we've said things like, we love how family-oriented the Mexican people are. It's just very much part of their culture, where they're very much, the family unit's just a very big part of who they are. And you see that, especially at a beach on a holiday weekend. It's just fun. I love that about them. Like, you have multiple generations, and they have their tents lined up, and they've got like their awning where they sit under, and they have their table and their chairs. I mean, it's Thursday. They will be here through Sunday at least. And it's so fun. The kids are doing their own thing. The parents are laughing. It's just, I love it. I love that about Mexico. I think Mexico gets a bad rap sometimes as unsafe, and then you come here and sure, like every place, there's parts of Mexico that may be unsafe. There are unsafe. But then you don't hear often enough how family-oriented it is. And I think that's something that people overlook. And I love that about Mexico. To put sticker number 3 on the back box. These are, if you're not familiar with these, a lot of overlanders do these as kind of like stamps in a passport, but they're fun to kind of keep track of. Little postcards. Like, we don't collect souvenirs when we're traveling, but these are fun little ways to kind of see the countries and the places we've been around the world. So I've already done the US and Canada in this rig, and now since we are a week into Mexico, we're gonna go ahead and put Mexico on there. Hola. It's pretty cool. All right.
Next would be Belize, maybe? We'll see, one at a time. All right, come on, Kramer, let's go get tacos.
She walks alone across the burning sand. No sound in her ears. No, she won't find another mother now. There is no other here. She wanders onward, never to arrive.
We were trying to find a campsite and we kept looking and looking and nothing was looking quite right. We finally found somebody on Overlander, which is an app that a lot of overlanders use to find spaces, and it said, hey, this guy has a great spot, it's RV camping, and so this is our campground for tonight. It's in the neighborhood, and if you come over here, there's some barbed wire fence that we had to untangle, and then he said, hey, help yourself, we have water, it's right here, and have a good night, I'll see you in the morning. So this is what camping for tonight looks like. Not all the time is it glamorous, but at least we have a safe, secure place that we're able to call home for tonight.
Today has not been the best of days. I think we're both a little fried. But it's safe, it's quiet, there's birds chirping, pretty sunset. Ending it strong. You wanna go to bed, don't you? Yeah, that's what you want. Okay, you get to go there, bye. We spent a couple weeks in the greater La Paz area exploring its beaches and mountains and everything else it has to offer, and we have absolutely fallen in love with this little city. Sure, it has the trendy cafes and the boardwalk and the beautiful ocean front and beaches, but what we really love is that you can still see a local side of Mexico, even in the city. La Paz is in kind of an interesting place because it's about an hour from everything. It's about an hour and a half from Cabo, it's about an hour from Todos Santos. It's really sort of tucked away nicely right on the peninsula. The waters are blue, the sky is blue, the climate's dry and sunny. It's almost perfect weather year-round. When we came to Baja, we thought we were going to fall in love with a lot of the places our friends told us to visit. You know, the really remote beaches, Todos Santos, Cabo, all the places you've heard. But we did have one friend who said, you're going to love La Paz most, and turns out she was right.
Alright, don't mind us looking this way in our pajamas. Pretty early in the morning, we're going to a very famous beach. And it's so famous that you've got to get there early and wait in line. And so we wanted to make sure that we get there and show you. It's super quiet this morning.
So it just so happens that 40 minutes outside of town is one of the world's best beaches. Or so we've heard. So we're gonna go check it out for ourselves.
So Belander Beach only allows 450 people a day in. So that's why we needed to get here early. There's already a line, but thankfully there's not 450 people here. And we were greeted with people already selling umbrellas and chairs or renting them out. The nice thing about having our truck camper is that we can make coffee and wake up while we sit and wait. You're a sucker if you come in a car.
A little busy. We tried to get here at least half an hour early. We got here 45 minutes early. I was a little nervous because it's a weekend, but
we timed it okay. We're like, what, the 20th car back? Not even, yeah, like 15 cars back.
Get here early. Get here early. So the gates just open and I ran down because I saw other people running, and they have these palapas here, and there's only about like 12 to 13 palapas. Some of them have fallen over, but thankfully I was able to grab this, so we have a little shade. But yeah, this is beautiful. Mexico is very proud of this beach, and I understand why. It kind of creates this like little lagoon, and the water's so crystal clear and blue, and it's really, really pretty. We're gonna enjoy our time here. So the vegetation behind me is all protected, and so Kramer is allowed on the beach. Dogs are allowed on the beach, but they need to be on a leash, and they can't go through the grass or anything like that, and they can't get in the water as well. So he is just gonna have fun sitting on the beach.
So we're at Balandra Beach, and it's absolutely beautiful. People said don't go there. Like, it's too busy, don't go there, it's a waste of time. But honestly, it's free to come. I'm so glad we did, because the water is very calm. It's one of the quietest beaches we've been to here. People don't park right on the beach and then blast their music. I only heard like one stereo playing pretty loudly, but for the most part, it's been pretty quiet. You can do a morning shift or an afternoon shift. So you can either come from 8 to 12 or 1 to 5. And we did the morning shift, so it's a little cool when we first got here. We're warming up, we're gonna hop in the water now. It is a beautiful beach. It's truly gorgeous. I think it was ranked as like one of the best beaches in the world or something like that. I don't know how they come up with these rankings, but it really is beautiful. It's probably one, if not the prettiest beach I've ever been to. Absolutely gorgeous. The water's so clear, and it's peaceful, and they do limit the number of people that can come here every day, so you don't have to worry about it just being completely swamped with people, which is pretty nice. Kramer, look how much sand is in your bowl. I just poured that water. It's a nice relaxing day.
This is some of the nicest sand ever. None of the other beaches around here that we've seen so far have this type of sand. So I'm wondering if they busted in. Just know that the sand here is really nice, which is weird to say, but we've been enjoying it.
So our time slot for being here at the beach is almost over. We have like 30 more minutes, and we decided to run up. There's this cliff overlook. We noticed a trail coming in that has like, you'll see it when you're driving in, but there's like a walkway over the main road, and it comes up to this top here, and you could see all the way around. And we've got the main beach that we were hanging out on, and right around the rock there's another whole beach that you can tell those are the people who've been here before, because they knew to go all the way around it over there. I mean, honestly, this beach is gorgeous. People said it would be busy, and yeah, it is busy, but I think it's 100% worth getting here 30 minutes before the gate opens and hanging out for the day, because it is probably the prettiest beach we've seen here. It's gorgeous. I love the little pause area. So pretty. We were told that we were going to like it, and yes, we do. So we're at Dulce Corriente, which is a coffee shop, sort of local chain. So their main roasters is in Todos Santos, which is about an hour from here. And we didn't realize that until we were in Todos Santos, and we stumbled upon it again. But there are at least 4 locations in the La Paz area. Best Americano we have found in the area, delicious coffee, but they're also famous for cinnamon rolls. You may not have split it earlier on in this trip. It's a large cinnamon roll, like compared to my hand. All right. Ooh, it's interesting. It's like so it's, if you can see it, it's kind of crusty. It's got a hard out exterior, but really soft interior. Almost feels like a croissant. Make us try it. Heck yeah. The exterior is a little crunchy on purpose. They even like sprinkled it with sugar, you can see it. So it's sweet, and the interior is all warm and soft, and the frosting is melted all over it.
I peer pressured Sarah into getting the cinnamon roll. I kept pushing and pushing, and so now we're gonna go have to run after this, I think.
This is the bakery location, so the cinnamon rolls are baked on site here. There's a little patio out front, there's the patio out back, and there's a great little interior space. But this is on, I think the street is actually called Cinco de Mayo. I remember that because Cinco de Mayo. I don't know why I did that. Dropped it off. It is, what time is it now?
9:45.
It's 9:45 now. She gave us a ticket, so I come back at 4. Easy. Super nice lady too. She spoke English, which I wasn't really expecting because English isn't as common. Oh gosh, it's my dog again. He got me that time. I saw him the first time. Oh, she spoke wonderful English. She actually used to live in the States, but English isn't as common in Baja as it is in mainland, doesn't seem like. But yeah, she was really kind and so nice and wonderful English, so that was helpful because Chris and I are still struggling with the Spanish, so.
Bien.
Yeah. All right, onward.
Going back home. Never to roam. Was born.
Since we've been here in La Paz, we've seen, especially at sunset, these rock formations along the water that are just absolutely gorgeous. They're just kind of wavy looking, there's holes through them, and we kept seeing at sunset like all these people up there hiking up there, and it didn't look that far, and we thought there's gotta be a way to get up there. Everybody else is doing it. So we finally saw the trailhead close to where we were parking, and it's not even a quarter of a mile to get up to the actual rocks. You can go all the way up on top of the mountain ridge. I don't know how tall it is, but you can go all the way up there and hike along it too, apparently. But we really wanted to see these rock formations because they're really beautiful, and then set against the blue water of the bay is just absolutely gorgeous. So we're here at like 11 a.m. and there's a couple other people here, but not too bad. And the view's worth it. It's a little scrambly to get to the top. The trail is not exact. There's a couple little pathways you can kind of go up. Just watch your step, watch for cactus, watch for snakes, I guess. We didn't see any snakes. Saw a lizard. It scared me to death for a second. But the view's worth it. It's gorgeous up here.
All those things that I wanted, weren't worth a dime.
Got our laundry.
Check this out.
Smells so good. Isn't it pretty? Windy here. It's not usually this windy when we've been here.
La Paz has some of the best sunsets I've ever seen.
They really do. Baja in general has incredible sunsets.
Even the locals pull off and they snap a photo and get back in their car because it's breathtaking.
So in La Paz, there's the boardwalk that runs along the waterfront, and it's about 5 kilometers long, it's 3.1 miles, which is awesome. We've been running there all week. We love running there. So when you're in La Paz and you're heading like away from town to the east, the road splits and the eastbound traffic goes up on the hill and the westbound traffic is like along the boardwalk on the bottom. Where we're at is where the eastbound traffic goes. So we're up on the hill above the boardwalk. I know I'm saying a lot, but that's where the best view is. There's a couple little car pull-offs up here, or you can walk up the stairs on the side of the hill and get this incredible view. I don't think there's a bad spot in town, but I like being higher up.
I like this town. It's gonna be a good night.
Horchata. I haven't had any since we've been here, and I love horchata. You want it to be good and homemade. This is homemade.
So just a lowdown on tacos here. They brought over some onions and peppers for the tacos later. First up, a chorizo taco. They put everything on it for me, guacamole, onion. It's pretty big, it's nice, yeah.
All right, I got one taco and one quesadilla. I got El Pastor, which is beef. It's the spinning spigot over there. So good. I didn't realize how big the quesadilla was gonna be, so I probably overdid it. What else is new?
I got 2 more Al Pastor tacos. So we're gonna dig in here. It's very good. You can't go wrong.
Good. It's delicious. Pastor is so good. Hello. He's not starving. Can't help it. He was begging. Kramer's over in the car saying, Judas. Today is our last full day in La Paz. I'm very sad about that. We're getting chilaquiles at this place that our friend Jackie, Traveling Jackie, recommended. She's been to Baja several times, especially La Paz, and she gave us all of her recommendations. So this tour of Baja has kind of been like tour of Jackie. Jackie gave us some great spots, but she said her favorite chilaquiles in La Paz is from here. And they have a lovely patio. It's on a very popular street, kind of hip area of town. Very pleasant, kind of quiet today. So we are getting chilaquiles. I got verde, which is green, and then we added egg to it. Both got the exact same thing. And it looks and smells delicious. And I'm so hungry. This is one of my favorite dishes in Mexico. Chilaquiles all day. It's simple. It's like eating nachos for breakfast. It's satisfying. It's so good. So it's got tortilla chips, the verde green salsa, which is really good. It's my favorite. It's kind of warm, not overly hot or spicy, just warm. It's got cheese, cream sauce, black beans, onion, cilantro, avocado, and then we added huevos, which is eggs. Delicious. Kind of all mixed together.
People kept saying, you need to put a taco counter. And yeah, we're doing the taco counter. But what you should be saying is you need to do a chilaquiles counter because I freaking love this stuff. It's so good.
We spent 2 months in Baja, hopping around from beach to beach. And after those 2 months, it was time to move on to mainland Mexico. But to do so, we have to take an overnight ferry from La Paz over to Mazatlan. We're on our way to the office for the ferry. We're planning on hopping on it in like 4 or 5 days. That's our plan. But we need to go over to the ferry office and get the ferry scheduled to make sure they have availability, see what time the ferry leaves.
There it is.
Ferry, find a spot.
Since we already got our TIP for the truck, when we entered Mexico, this part should be fairly straightforward. So I'm gonna go in the office, talk to them, see what the schedule's like, and yeah, here it is.
Hold up, wait a minute, who's that? Looking so stylish, all original and effortless.
So let's recap really quick. I walked in, lady is sitting right there at the front. She says, hey, you went on the boat? I said, yes. She's like, I need your license plate, your name, what kind of truck it is, and let's go. Then they told me that they're booked out for an entire week, and the ship only leaves Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. And this ship is about a 15-hour ferry ride. So that means that when we leave on a Monday or a Wednesday or a Friday, we'll get there the next day. We have to get at the port at 1 o'clock, then the boat sets sail at 5 o'clock, and then we'll be on the mainland that morning.
There are 2 ferry options when trying to get to Baja to mainland Mexico: Baja Ferry and TMC. Now, Baja Ferry is supposedly more comfortable, while TMC is pet friendly. So we went with TMC because 1, we can sleep in our camper while on the boat, and 2, Kramer can be with us and even walk around outside with us. And yes, for those of you wondering, he'll have to go to the bathroom on the deck, and we're just gonna have to clean it up. The entire ferry cost, including taxes and fees, was a total of $480 US for 2 people, and Kramer was free.
Aquí, el volante, el chofer.
Oh, right there?
Ajá.
Drive?
El siguiente.
Hola. Primero. Oh, stop. Okay. Hola. Hola, español? No. You're from USA? Okay. Can I see your tip? Oh, sure. You to go in? Sure. Yeah. You want to show her? Yeah. Hola.
Bueno, buenas tardes. Por ahí voy.
Mazatlan.
Sí.
You see?
No, voy más atrás.
No Mazatlan?
No.
Oh. Where do we go?
Mazatlan? He acted like it wasn't even here.
This is our second attempt. We're heading to the ferry right now. It's about 8 a.m. They told us to be at the ferry around 9. They said because the ferry has broken down, it will probably be busy because everybody who's missed their boat will probably be at this one. We have to get there early to make sure that we have a place on the actual boat, and we have to hope that it's running.
Hopefully, today is the day.
Stories without a few letdowns are boring when told. Perfection and poems are alive when it all unfolds.
I bet it looks like the ones in the pictures.
We think that that's our boat. We think it's actually here. We're not positive. We can't see the name on it.
Gracias.
Cuando esté el ticket, ya que le den ticket, parquen y pasen a la oficina.
Okay, gracias.
All right, pretty straightforward. So we went through the scale. They weighed us. They gave us a ticket. I went inside the TMC office. They just needed our passports. And luckily, we have a reservation because we went back to the La Paz office and said, hey, we need to be on this Saturday one. If we didn't have a reservation, they weren't going to let us through. The cool thing is we can sleep in our truck. So we'll be on the boat with this guy.
So that right there, Santa Rita, that is our boat. Just made it. It is moving. It's not broken down today.
When you get here to the port, there's not a lot of instruction. They're like, just go that way. And we ended up in front of the boat. Now you can see that cars and some semis have pulled up, and you're just kind of waiting here. It is really hot. There's not really a breeze happening right now, which is unfortunate. What we're realizing now is we hope that they stick us on top of the ship, because if they stick us in this container right here, I mean, that's fine, but then that means we won't have any solar or Starlink, which would make for a long, boring boat ride. Kramer's trying to cool off.
This is how he's been. We wet them both, the cloth thing and his little cooling jacket, and then I stuck him in the freezer for a little bit. He's not panting, and it's hot. Are you panting? He's okay. None of us are having a lot of fun right now. I'm excited. Like, it's kind of exciting. It's a unique experience. We've only done, like, what, an hour and a half ferry before, and that was in Canada to Vancouver Island. So this is going to be by far the longest boat ride we've ever done. So excited. And then tomorrow we're in a whole new place we've never been. Picked the hottest day so far to do it. I think the high's like 90 today. No, maybe not the hottest, but close to the hottest day. It's only slightly nerve-wracking.
We've been sitting here. There's been no instructions given, but all of a sudden people are moving. So we're just kind of waiting patiently while these semi-truck drivers, I don't know what they're doing. I think they're all getting lined up and then they'll figure it out. So it's just a waiting game.
So we've been sitting here watching the process for the last hour and a half, but a lot of the truck drivers came and dropped off the trailers and they lined them up like one by one. They're all in rows and they are crammed in here pretty tight. And then this guy here, it looks like he works for the ferry line, has this little truck, but he's going to be the one who loads every single one of the trailers in. So rather than every truck driver driving their own trailer onto the boat, this one guy is going to haul all of them on, it looks like. So he is putting the first one on the back of his truck. He's done this before. He was quick. I think we're about to get moving. Hi, Kramer. No.
So I just request to be put on the top deck. He said, wait your turn. So we'll see.
Everybody on iOverlander told us to request to be on the top deck. So we weren't trying to be rude. We were just following what everybody recommended doing. We're doing it. They just told us to drive forward, which is great because half the people have been backing up the ramp. I think I went to parallel parking.
Yeah.
Hold on, tell them I'm sorry. We're on! And we have a view! A little nerve-wracking. It wasn't too bad, but it's like a lot of pressure. Like they're pointing and yelling, and guy was really nice helping us, but had to parallel park this sucker. We're in for the next 15 hours.
So they did put us on the upper deck, which is great. I'm not complaining. But we're under the roof. So meaning we're out of the sun, which is good. There's no more heat, but it's also blocking our Starlink. So now we can't Netflix. We're parked next to the hot nuts guy.
I'm talking because I got earplugs in. Pretty nice. We can stay inside our own camper though and make dinner. I know they provide dinner up on deck in the mess hall, but we have everything we need to cook dinner here. So we'll probably go explore later and see what is happening on deck. I want to see what the ship is like. Dare. How are we? Looks like a little Russian grandma.
So we actually use this when we have to dry Kramer's hair at the, like when we're giving him a bath, because he hates the noise of a blow dryer. He's really good with like noises on planes and cars and everything else, but he doesn't like a blow dryer. So that's why we always have this with us, but it's also good in places like this where it's really loud. I think he's a little disoriented though. Kramer.
So we're not complaining, but we think that we got the worst spot in the house because we're right in front of a vent for the engine of the boat. So we thought that, oh, maybe the trucks are still running their engines. No, it's the boat. So hopefully something changes. We just had to get out because it was so loud. So we're exploring the boat right now. This is not a Disney cruise. So we've had fun talking with some people on the boat and just kind of chilling out. It is 6:45 when we booked this. They said you need to be here at 9 a.m. to make sure you're on the boat because the boat leaves at 2. And again, it is 6:45 and we still haven't left, but they filled the boat up.
They did. It's been a nice evening. It's finally cooled off. We made friends. It's been a good time. It feels nice. Kramer came out on the deck with us, so it's getting out and stretching a little bit. It's a good night.
It is kind of stressful because I went down to get Kramer and it is.
Professional.
Yeah. Went down to get Kramer and you basically have to crawl underneath the semi trucks to get out. Kramer was a trooper. He fit just fine. Me, on the other hand, it's a very, very different story. But yeah, this is what it's like to be on a ferry in Mexico.
Still in La Paz. I guess they just told us 2 o'clock. No, 5 o'clock. Just to make sure we were here. We're here. It's okay. We are getting there. We are not in a hurry. I think I'm just ready to kind of go in and chill for the night. But I also don't want to miss the big departure. So I don't think it's going to be that exciting. But I don't really want to put my pajamas on and shower for the night until we have officially departed. They're different. Yeah.
Chiapas.
Chiapas.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Good?
very, very
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Ooh, that's pretty. Okay. Oh, I already have it saved. I want to go there. Okay.
Rico. Delicious.
Okay. Muy rico.
The Kentucky Fried Chicken, it's good. It's rico.
That's where he's from.
I'm from Kentucky. I'm from Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
Colonel.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. We're with our friend Pepe. It's 9 o'clock and.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
You gotta ask, Chris.
I know.
No problem.
No problem. I didn't ask. So it's 9 p.m. and it's finally.
I am first.
We're finally going. All right, it's official. We're at sea now.
No, we're in the
9:09 p.m. We're finally leaving the port. Goodbye, La Paz.
I'm sad. I like La Paz.
Oh yeah, I'm sad too. So we're gonna sail through the night
You know, normally in a video like this, we would have taken really beautiful shots of the waves and just beautiful shots of the boat.
No. Yeah,
But
same.
it's nighttime.
I see.
So we're gonna fade to black,
Yeah.
and we'll see you when we wake up.
I wonder.
I'm gonna have to lose some weight.
Had a dream I was alone, a vast expanse of complete unknown. Sea of glass so clear it shone like gold. Then a voice like thunder clapped as a dead man I collapsed. I am the first, I am the last. Now rise, my son.
Good morning. Sunrise? We were sleeping soundly until about 5 a.m. and then they turned the engine behind us back on and I woke up. But it's 5:42 now, so I was awake. So let's go get sunrise shots since we're up. I slept until about 30 minutes ago, so I'm feeling very rested now. So I woke up and then Chris said, Sarah, there's birds in the window, we're getting really close. And so we got dressed really fast and came upstairs, and sure enough, Mazatlan is right there. We're getting in later than we expected because we left really late yesterday, but that's okay. It's a beautiful day. I'm missing the dry heat of Baja already because it is much more humid, which we knew was going to happen. But we're in Mazatlan. We made it to mainland Mexico.
Finally pulling into port. Oh, it's good to see land.
Well, we're not moving. The people next to me. Okay. After almost 24 hours on the ferry, we made it to mainland Mexico. And this is the start of the second leg of our journey. So stay tuned for more.
For behind the scenes and extra content, you can head on over to our Patreon community. Otherwise, be sure to follow on Instagram or like and subscribe here. It really helps creators like us.